Welcome back to the Overrated Experience Sports and Sports Betting Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Blondin, and we're back for another week of betting action. And back again is...
Austin from Ajax. How's it going, guys?
Wow, you look a little different. You look different than the Austin from Ajax that joined us last week. What's different? Something looks different.
Yeah, I had that same day. I had to get rid of the playoff beard there. It was for the Blue Jays, and now it's all over. So the beard is gone.
Well, we're 7 days out from the Blue Jays losing, and I can tell you that at work and in conversation, I try to shy away from talking about it. I looked at shut down conversations. I don't need to rehash, and like it's funny because when you talk to people and you say, "Hey, I don't want to talk about it," like maybe talk in April, and people are like, "I understand," but isn't it crazy that they, like no, you don't understand because you're talking about it. So I don't know, how's it been you in your life for a week talking about the Jays?
See, I've had a different experience. I honestly feel like the people around me, nobody wants to talk about it. It's like, all right, next, maybe when baseball starts back up, but. Like, obviously, there's been a couple mentions, but people also respect the not wanting to hurt you more. So,
all right, I need a sip of coffee. It's a Saturday morning. The Overrated Experience is talking football. Last week, we actually did the podcast on the Sunday, not giving a lot of folks time to digest what we were putting down as far as our plays for Week 9. Which is good because we didn't do that well in Week 9. Mm-hmm. So let's admit it. The podcast you're going to listen to, everybody out there, if you haven't joined us before, is a square / sharp in between how would I call it? A scorp kind of podcast where, yes, we use analytics. We used our knowledge to land on choices for over-under spreads and props. But at the same time, we're susceptible, just like you are, the average person out there, to that 8 o'clock Sunday nighter, the 4 o'clock games, betting games you probably wouldn't have taken. Like, as an example, last week, we were both on the Jacksonville-Las Vegas game that may have gotten lost if it was in the 1 o'clock slot. So, we're degenerates, just like everybody else out there, and we try to do our best, and we get caught up in the action. So you can follow the Overrated Experience at Overrated EXPER2. That's Overrated EXPER2. That's on X. And Austin from Ajax, are you following the Overrated EXPER2 on X?
I'm not on X currently.
That's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. So you can also follow the Overrated Experience on Instagram at Overrated Experience. Now, before we get into betting action, it's reported here in Toronto that tomorrow we are going to see 10 centimeters of snow, which is a kick to the balls because I hate the stupid snow and I love Canada, but I just don't like the winter any further. You work outdoors. I know you don't work on Sundays, but you work a very physical job outside with cement. Is it a better experience working when it is blazing hot or it is snow and cold? Like, what would you prefer? Just curious.
Well, I mean, blazing hot over working in the cold, but when you're working concrete, you're limited. If there's snow on the ground, if there's frost on the ground, you're really not pouring concrete outside. So.
Right.
Usually in the winter it'd be inside, and therefore it's all the same,
Right.
If you're inside, it's all the same.
So you're hoping that there's many inside jobs as far as winter goes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So speaking of heavy lifting, I'm going to try to drag you through the show. See, I got you there. Yeah. So a lot going on in the sports world, and we're going to get into Week 10 of the NFL. But, man, there is currently EPL action going on. Just came off an early morning EPL Manchester United-Tottenham game. We have college football, MLS playoffs, just NBA, NHL, a lot going on. Outside of the NFL, what's got you going? What are you focused on in the sports world? Is it just pure fantasy? I know you're in basketball fantasy, but what's got your attention outside of football?
Yeah. Outside of football, honestly, I don't know if I've really been following any sports outside of football. I do have this one kick-ass fantasy basketball keeper team, so I'm following that. Just this team of superstars. So obviously, I'm following basketball to a degree. But other than football, honestly, I'll say nothing when it comes to sports right now.
What about college basketball?
Since baseball.
Do you ever feel
No, not at all. March Madness, sure. Okay. During the March Madness time, sure, that's fun. Everyone does a bracket. Everyone's having a good time. Maybe I'll make one this year, set up a group.
Right. Yeah, you're kind of copying my idea. That's basically what's going on. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a lot of going on. I got looking forward to the college football card today. There's a couple more EPL games going on, NHL action, NBA. I took the Nuggets and Warriors last night to go over. It went over. Not feeling the NBA just yet. That doesn't mean that I won't get on board. I feel my calling should be something like college basketball because I'm very neutral. I have no
Mhm.
feeling, and it would keep me in the lane of making the smart pick. So maybe I'll become a NCAA basketball guru, but there's like 3
Mhm.
million games a night. It's hard to keep
Yeah.
up and understand what area to focus on. So I've never really gotten on top of that, but maybe I'll try. Who knows? But
Yeah. You know, the one thing that I've actually been looking at, funny enough, is actually baseball, looking at the free agents this year uh that are available right now. It's
there,
actually a pretty long list.
yes, like Bo Bichette being
Ka
one. What other free agents
yeah,
stand out to you?
Ka the two big ones is Kyle Tucker, huge free agent,
Mm-hmm.
and then Kyle Schwarber as well. Oh, and don't forget Cody Bellinger as well.
Interesting, right? Because Kyle Tucker, the he goes to the Cubs for that, and they knew they had him for 1 year. The
Yep.
Cubs, made a playoff run, and
Yep.
but they didn't get I think the end result they wanted. And Kyle Tucker's an impact player. How
Oh yeah.
impactful do you think he really is, Kyle Tucker?
I feel like, I mean, he's a solid guy. You know, I don't think you're winning the World Series if he's the best player on your team, but if he's the second, you might be happy. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't say he's at the very top, but he's right there.
Right.
You know? Like yeah. I'd compare him to like probably even a little better than like George Springer, for example.
But Springer was clutch, and that's what the
Yep.
Jays needed. So got Kyle Tucker. Kyle Schwarber is an impactful player. He's another guy that hits a lot of bombs, but does strike out. But he was a difference maker with the Phillies.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. They had Bo Bichette as the fifth like person on the list, like of value,
That's a
like from
mistake.
1 to 5.
That's a mistake.
That's definitely a mistake.
That's a
Who
mistake.
who do you think's more impactful of a player, Bo Bichette or Kyle Tucker? If you were the Jays and you could take either one, who are you taking? Let's say for 2 years.
1,000%. 1,000%, I would say Bo Bichette right now
Hmm.
because I
Yeah.
think baseball is slowly shifting back to contact,
Hmm.
getting runs, cheaply, sack flies, bunting guys over, and
Yep.
Bo Bichette just
Yeah.
base hits, gets on base, right? And people, I think, forget that. And I think a team like the Yankees, we talked about potentially being a landing spot for Bo Bichette. Any team to change the dynamic of their roster should be
Hmm.
focused on Bo Bichette. If you can get him off the whole, I want to play shortstop. That's
Hmm.
you put him at second base, you DH him now and then. He is so valuable for a franchise that already has, your 3-4 hitter out there. He's going to complement it. He's going to be one of the main guys, but he brings a different skill set that I think is craving in baseball right now. And I just think we're not seeing it yet. And it's an unknown fact that baseball is going to shift back to contact, entertaining
Hmm.
baseball.
As a baseball fan, that's what I hope for. You know, it's way more entertaining.
Yeah, this jack home runs, like, you talked about Cody Bellinger. I mean, the Yankees, would be, I know he opted out, so it wasn't like the Yankees decided to move on from Cody Bellinger or won't circle back to Cody Bellinger. But I mean,
Hmm.
if you had a choice between Giancarlo Stanton, who can hit 500-foot home runs, but is such a liability when he's not, hitting 500 home runs, even on the base path, Cody Bellinger
Hmm.
to me is way more valuable than Giancarlo Stanton. No problem hitting lefties. I mean, that's unique for a left-handed hitter like
Hmm.
Bellinger. And I'm wondering where he'll end up. Maybe he'll go back to the Yankees, but he is definitely a find for somebody who decides to unload the Brinks truck back up and pay him off.
I agree. Former MVP Cody Bellinger.
Cody
Guy,
Bellinger,
guys, guy solid.
solid, solid like cement, right? Yes. See what I did there? Yeah, I
Yeah.
did there. I tied it into where you're working. Okay, we're going to get into some NFL news first, and then we'll get into the trade deadline, which had some interesting movements, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Um, the big story, though, and there's two of them, but one bigger than the other in my mind. Monday night, if we watch the Cowboys and Cardinals, uh, Cowboys got destroyed. Their defense is absolutely garbage, but one of the scoring touchdowns that the Cowboys had was a block kick or block punt by Marshawn Nealon. I don't know if you know the story, Austin. It seems like you don't know the story. So Marshawn Nealon, second-year defensive player, linebacker for the Dallas Cowboys, a couple days ago reported that he was dead. He's gone. And as the story unravels, and I think there's a lot more we're going to understand here, is that there was somewhat of a police chase. It takes off from a vehicle that crashed, and apparently it was a self-inflicted gunshot wound that he died from. And it's shocking to move from a great moment in his professional career, Monday Night Football, blocks a punt, return for a touchdown, probably pretty jacked, like he had that, and then a few days later, he's gone under such insane scenario. So I don't know how much you heard about the story and what your thoughts are.
Old.
24. Think about that. 24 years old.
4 years younger than me.
4 years younger than you. Think how much life he had to live after that. So we'll find out more, but I don't know if you had any thoughts on that story or what came to mind as you heard this situation unfold.
I heard about it, but I didn't hear the extent of the police chase or the gunshot to the head. I heard that it was a suicide, but I hadn't kept up with the story. But that is absolutely ludicrous.
Keep in mind, I'm giving you the high level of what has been reported, but I think there's going to be a lot here to unravel. In 2025 in social media, things explode and a lot of opinions come in. So that's what I believe are the facts, but we'll find out more. And a weird story, one of the people are going to forget this guy.
Can I guess?
Go for it.
It's not Roma Dunse's dad, is it?
No. What was that story? I didn't even know that story.
So basically, I don't know if you know, Roma Dunse has had an unreal season. I'm pretty sure it's his sophomore season.
Yep.
Yeah, kind of a breakout season. But the last game, they won 48 points, right? Yeah. They won with 48 points. But Dunse had 3 targets, no catches, right? His dad goes on social media and is saying if they don't use Roma Dunse, they should trade him. And and the way the team responded on their X or whatever, wherever they responded, they posted a Roma Dunse for that week, his offensive blocking, because apparently he's an elite run blocker, right?
Right.
So they posted a video of him run blocking, and they captioned it "selfless," right? But it's what is his father doing on social media? But that was just a funny story. For some reason, I thought that was the one you were going to tell, but I thought it was worth the mention.
I didn't hear about that story, but I just don't get I get the excitement of a family member, a dad, about a situation. But we're talking about a sloppy football game. Yeah, Dunze not being targeted and not putting up points. Yeah, I think that's a one-off, right? It's a one-off.
It's a one-off.
They got the win. They got the win. Just shut up and move on.
Yeah, you can't complain when they won. If they lost and you're like, hey, they didn't give my son the ball, fine, that makes sense. But if they win, what are you doing here?
But it's also, even if they would have lost, those kind of things look at AJ Brown, for the Eagles, right? That's obviously they didn't trade him. But it's an explosive situation that just takes away from, you're talking about a Super Bowl team that always has this story now of AJ Brown. Are you happy? Did you get enough playing time? Did you get enough targets? And now what a Dunze, that could spark those kind of situations. And he's meant to be there with Caleb Williams over the next 5-6 years, right? He goes hand in hand with Caleb Williams. And then for the Bears social media team to kind of, let me not, let me chip away at pissing off, a family member or one of our star players. I don't know if that's a good idea. No, but where I was going with the story was, did you hear the story about Antonio Brown?
No. Another one?
Oh my God. So Antonio Brown, for those who forget, in his prime and closer to the end with Tampa Bay, outside of the shenanigans, he was one of the best receivers in football. Right, he was one of the most impactful receivers for the Steelers, Patriots for a small time. I don't even count that. That was a very small time. But for the Buccaneers, helped them get that Super Bowl ring.
Yep.
But now he's a joke because he just got in a situation. Apparently, he was attending a celebrity boxing match in Dubai. And I guess he got in a fist fight with somebody earlier in the crowd or something. There's video of this. I haven't really looked at the
Oh
video,
my
so you'll see it
God.
online. So he grabbed a security, I guess somebody in security's gun, and grabbed it and fired 2 shots.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Holy shit.
So they don't fuck around over there, man. They do not fuck around. So he got arrested.
Antonio Brown, he shot a gun in the
He shot a
stadium.
gun toward 2 shots toward another guy, like
I'm in
who he
shock.
got a fist. Yeah. So U.S. Marshals arrested him, I guess, and he was extradited back to the United States, and he's up on charges for attempted murder. What a dipshit!
Wow.
Like, what?
Yeah.
This tells you everything you need to know about stardom, athletics, in the professional situation. When you are at your peak and you're the most valuable and you're a special player on the field, people turn a blind eye. People turn a blind eye. But as soon as you start fading just a little bit and that contract doesn't meet the performance that somebody else can provide cheaper, see ya. You're gone. You're nothing, right? So nobody's going to look the other way anymore for a guy out of his prime, 37 years old, non-NFL star. That's the trap that a lot of these guys get into, that their peak is what they think is going to last forever. And it's not.
Yeah.
So you didn't hear about this story.
No, that sounds insane. I don't know how I didn't hear about this. I must really be out of the loop.
You're out of the
insane.
loop, man. You're out of the loop.
But I will say, I've never seen anybody like Antonio Brown's got to be one of the biggest CTE cases there is out there. You
Could
know,
be.
like the way that he talks at the beginning of his career opposed to the end, it's insane. It's like you're talking to somebody who's senile now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and is it that? Is it just because of those many years of just, getting the cash and the lifestyle?
I think it's a mix.
Yeah,
I think it's a mix. Yeah,
but you could be right. Anyway, we move on to Week 10 of the NFL. It's time to get our picks in. I don't even want to rehash last week. I didn't even total it up. I was not happy with our selections. We were way off. We're going to start clean. Slate is clean here today. Week 10. Here we go. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Now, sorry, I always do this and I kind of backtrack. Did you watch the Vegas Broncos game on Thursday?
No, but I followed it. I know it was low scoring. Broncos won what? 13-10 or something like that, or
it's 10-7. It was the shittiest
10-7.
football game maybe of the year. It was no melatonin required to fall asleep. Based on watching that game, disgusting. The Raiders disgust me. What? Let me ask you this. We watched the Jacksonville, Las Vegas game last week.
Yeah.
That the Raiders lost in overtime. What performance stuck out to you for the Raiders? Who?
For the Raiders. I would say Geno Smith.
You think Geno Smith over Brock Bowers?
Oh, sorry. No. Brock Bowers was the man. He was completely dominated.
How many fantasy leagues were turned on its head? Matchups because of his 30-plus point performance last week.
It cost me a win.
Yeah. How many catches do you think he had on Thursday?
I think he had 0.
1. He had 1 catch. 3 targets. 3 targets.
That's it. Wow. That
crazy. Tells you, yes, the Broncos have a top D.
Yeah.
However, you're Pete Carroll. You have the duty to game plan and find some way to get that ball in his hands.
Yeah.
You don't win. You don't win.
I will say, though, I'm more surprised that the Broncos only put up 10. I feel like this is an easy spot for at least 21. You know what I mean? I don't get that at all. Like that, I could expect like a shutout performance from the Broncos at any given week, especially against a team like the Raiders. But for the Broncos not to put up points, that's kind of surprising to me.
But can I acknowledge my disgust? My disgust,
fair enough.
My disdain for this situation. I just don't get it. Now it's ruined my fantasy team because he had maybe a couple points at best. I just don't understand the Raiders. And they go ahead after the game because of a missed field goal that could have tied this game at 10. And they fire their special teams coach, Tom McMahon. They're focusing their energies on firing their special team coach because a kicker fucked up. How is that possible? That's the area of focus? It's not Geno Smith, who's a less than average quarterback, terrible. You don't have a game plan that puts Brock Bowers in a situation to be successful. This organization is a mess. They have to start over from scratch. Tom Brady may have to take more of a role on this. I don't know. He may have to step down from Fox and say, hey, guys, I'm taking over, because this Pete Carroll experiment and this idea is absolute trash. Absolute trash. So I'm going to do this again. I'm going to backtrack quickly on the NFL trade deadline. Sauce Gardner goes to the Colts. 2 first-round picks given up. Thoughts?
That's crazy. 2 first-round picks is a lot in football. Obviously, Sauce Gardner. It's funny because I know me and you were having this conversation last week about top cornerbacks in the NFL. I rank him as probably my second guy, but I wouldn't have expected 2 firsts. That seems like a lot. Maybe a first and a third, something along those lines.
Right.
But I feel like 2 first-round picks can truly change an NFL franchise.
It can, but I guess let's look at the mindset of the Colts organization right now. They're obviously pushing the chips all in the middle. This is our year. And remember, they kicked it off thinking that Anthony Richardson was going to be their franchise quarterback, and they bring in Danny Dimes. And then suddenly how they are at the top of the food chain in the NFL and amongst a lot of power rankings, 7-2. Didn't show good. A little scared about what happened last week in Pittsburgh. Is that the beginning of kind of the erosion of what the Colts will be the rest of the way? But they're putting the chips in the middle. I respect that. But you do have 2 first-round picks. Ideally, the first one this year is going to be a late first-round pick because of where they're going to finish. Sauce Gardner is a difference maker. So he could be the difference between making a deeper playoff run, an actual Super Bowl run. So I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. And you just say, hey, we tried. Fans, Colts, come on in because we're going for it. We're going for it. So that's an interesting one. Here's where I scratch my head. The Dallas Cowboys make a couple moves. They bring in Keenan Williams. I can't remember his name. Quinn, you know what I mean? Big defensive tackle.
Everyone knows him from the viral video.
Yes.
I don't know if you've seen it where he sneezes and he says, bless you, thank you. He blesses and thanks himself. So it's like this guy is very iconic.
He's underperformed this year. He is an impactful player. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And
why is Dallas buying?
Why is Dallas buying? Is it? Are they living in what do you call it, Marvel? A different universe. What it's called?
Multiverse. Living in the multiverse.
Is Jerry Jones living in 1990? What is going on? If he was going to make this move, and maybe it was available, not available, come on, guys. This move should have been made weeks ago because their defense is absolutely horrible. You can't wait to get lit up by Jacoby Brissett and the Cardinals and then make the move to chase the rest of the NFC to attempt to make the playoffs. You got rid of Micah Parsons because you didn't want to pay him. I have no idea why. Everybody else would have paid him, but why Jerry wouldn't? I have no idea. Cowboys don't make sense to me, and God bless America's team. I don't get it.
Okay.
No, sorry. That's a guy. I'm like, what are you doing? These moves I could see 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
All right.
It's like Jerry Jones. I don't know. He's always trying to win now, but he's never winning. You know what I mean?
Is he? He is, but he's not. He's not making professional, smart decisions.
This is my only theory, and it's going to sound harsh, but Jerry Jones must be thinking any year could be his last, and he just wants to see something. I have no idea.
Then why not keep Micah Parsons? Everybody would tell you this guy is in the prime of his career.
Yeah,
he's a franchise defensive player.
People debate he's the best defensive player in football.
Maybe, yeah. What were you thinking? You have Press Dak and you have CeeDee Lamb. Offense can be lights out, right? And then you fuck it up by not retaining Micah Parsons. Anyway, some other moves. The Saints look like they're selling. Not shocking. Rashid Shaheed goes to the Seattle Seahawks. Smart move by them, picking up a veteran wide receiver on top of Njoku. Trevor Penny, Chargers, pick up an offensive lineman. They've been decimated, so that makes sense. Bengals, dump Logan Wilson. We talked about Dallas picking up defensive players. He also went to the Cowboys. Now, I should have put this down, but the Eagles over the last couple weeks have been making small moves here and there, picking up, what's his face from the Packers. It used to be with the Packers, with the Ravens, cornerback. But they have, to me, the smartest organization in football, that they find pieces now and then, knowing that we're going to go on a run here and there's going to be injuries and we need depth. We need veteran depth. They don't give up too much. They know they have the core that they're looking for. Eagles, smartest team in football right now. Would you, if you had to talk about the smartest team and organization in the NFL, do the Eagles stand out to you, or is there another team you feel always makes the right moves?
I mean, the points you made are really good. I don't really know a team better than the Eagles, at least not in the last handful of years.
Yeah, they're Super Bowl champions for a reason.
Yep, yeah.
Okay.
Even the Super Bowl that they had with Nick Foles, you pick it up, like they're just always adding the next guy up. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
All right. We're finally 25, 26 minutes into the podcast. We're going to go to the Week 10 card in the NFL. Oh, by the way, and I'm digressing again. NFL Thanksgiving is coming up soon. The bullpen is hosting a watch party. If you're off that day, just to let you know. Nobody else who's listening can come, but you get the special invite.
Nice.
Week 10, 9:30. We kick it off in Berlin. Is it Berlin? Yeah, I think it's Germany, this one.
Yeah, I think so.
The Falcons take on the Colts. The Colts coming off a beating at the hands of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Many, many turnovers. The Atlanta Falcons fall to the Patriots because of a missed extra point, lose by 1. Colts are 6.5-point favorites. Over-under 48.5. What stands out to you here?
Under 48.5?
It's
Sorry,
48.5. The 48.5 is the over-under. The spread is 6.5 in favor of the Colts.
I would say honestly, I want to go with the Colts on this one. This is a game where they want to make a statement. They just went out and got Sauce Gardner, invested a lot into him, and everyone's going to be waking up early, getting their coffees ready for this game. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game with them winning.
Okay, so I'm assuming you're taking the over then.
Yep.
Okay, I like the over as well. I will say that I believe this game will be a little tighter. I do believe that the Colts will win, but I do believe the Falcons will cover the 6.5 points. There was a bit of crack. There was a bit of cracking in that Colts foundation last week where, the Steelers, which have been underperforming defensively, exploded last week for, I think it was 5 turnovers from Daniel Jones. I do think they get it done, but it's going to be a tighter game than we think. And DeForest Buckner, defensive tackle, impact player for the Colts, is out. He's on IR. That's also something worth noting. And also, what I'll throw out there here is a good prop, and you tell me if you like it. Jonathan Taylor, running back for the Colts, over 91.5 rushing yards. I like it over.
I like over as well.
Okay, let's move on. All right, now we go to the regular 1 o'clock games, and we have Jacksonville into Houston. No CJ Stroud. He's out concussed. Mills is going to be quarterbacking for the Houston Texans. You're also looking at Brian Thomas Jr., receiver for the Jacksonville Jaguars, who had an impactful game last week. He's out, right? So right now, the Houston Texans are still a 1.5 favorite, and this game is low, 37.5. I'm going to tell you that I like the over because I'm just sucker for low over-unders. And I like the Jacksonville Jaguars to actually win. And it's based on no CJ Stroud. What do you think?
I think it's the same thing as last week. It's a game Jacksonville should win, but Jacksonville is one of those teams, to me at least, that can find a way to lose a game. I'm not actually shocked that even without CJ Stroud, Houston's the favorite here. You know what? I'm going to take Houston.
Wow.
Even with the backup, I'm going to take Houston.
Okay. What about the over/under 37.5?
Give me over. 37 is a very low number.
Okay. Feel free to jump in with any, you don't have to, but tidbits on any fantasy football items that for each of these games. I don't know if anything's come up in the first two. Atlanta.
I mean, when I think Houston, I think they say Nico Collins has been one of the biggest fantasy busts. But other than that, I don't really have anything to note. But I'll sprinkle in some fantasy notes going forward.
Okay. So I also like prop-wise here because of the way they used Travis Etienne, running back for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm going to say over 75.5 for rushing plus receiving totals for him. I think he's going to get a big workload here. And I think if the Jacksonville Jaguars were smart, which I'm I don't know if they are or not. They would see what happened last week, the way he moved the ball and put it in his hands.
Yeah, is it 75.5 total yards?
Total
That's
yards.
the bet.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, that's a great bet. It's we were just talking about last week how not on the podcast but off the podcast how he's underrated, but he's always a complete workhorse.
Yep. He's a workhorse. Put a
Yeah.
saddle on. Go, giddy up.
Mm.
And we move on to the Jackson Dart. New York Giants head into Chicago to take on Adunye's, I can't even say his name, Adunye's father in the stands watching. The Bears are 4.5-point favorites. This jumped from 3.5. So the money is flowing to the Bears. Maybe his dad made the bet. And this over-under went from 48.5 to 47.5. So it came down. So point up on the Bears side, point down on the over-under. I've looked at the Bears here. I just don't see much fight left in the Giants. I know Jackson Dart's the guy. He has been a positive addition to the Giants, and they can look forward to potentially a bright future. But I think their injuries are catching up to them, and the Bears, I think, are taking that leap to that next level. I'm not talking about Eagles level, but at least another step in the right direction. So they cover the 4.5. I think it's going to be under the 47.5. I think it's going to be kind of a sloppy game. The Bears move the ball, but I don't see them putting the end zone every time they are going down the field. There's going to be some hiccups here. What do you think?
I think my take is that they're going to crush the Giants. I really like this Bears offense. They're very, very entertaining for me. Give me them winning by 10.
Okay. Wow. By 10. I only said 4.5, man. You're going off the rails here.
Wish I could have got that 3.5 regardless, but I'll still say 4.5 seems like a pretty good value to me.
Do you think there'll be a points in this game? I said under 47.5. What do you think?
47's probably right where it's at, but I know, we take it for every game. So I'll choose the over just thinking that the Bears put up over 30.
And what's if you had? I find Caleb Williams in your for those with holding two quarterbacks, you're usually bouncing between Caleb Williams and your other quarterback. Is he a must start?
This week, 100%. Like obviously, it's hard to fantasy because this could be a lot of guys backups, and you're not starting him over the guys like Lamar or Josh Allen. You're never going to choose him over those guys. But if it's him or Baker Mayfield, you might be making that decision this week. Hey, Baker Mayfield is obviously the better quarterback.
You're bashing Baker, man.
Hey, it's just because of how beat up they are. I'm not sure if Mike Evans is back yet. If Mike Evans is back, I retract that. First of all,
would you feel a little guilty if Baker was listening to this podcast right now that you just threw him under the bus?
Yeah, I would feel bad, honestly.
Yeah,
guy's a G.
Wow, you're hating on Baker now. Okay, anyway.
Also, I want to just mention, just because I'm thinking fantasy, doesn't necessarily have to be about fantasy, but I think Swift could have a big game here.
Okay, he was out last game. Yeah. I haven't checked the status.
Although if I'm not mistaken, the Giants have a decent run defense, I think, but I still think Swift has a big game.
The Giants are very good up front. They put a lot of pressure on the opposing quarterback, so that's an area of strength for the Giants. They're front four or front three, whatever. They're D tackles, defensive ends. Yeah, they get on the quarterback. So Abdul Carter having a good rookie year for the Giants. Also, Jackson Dart. What do you think of? Because he takes off out of the pocket. He's been light on rushing yards the last 2 weeks, but I feel with this Bears defense and this game being a little tight for a little while, that I like his rushing yards over 36.5. I think he's going to go to the ground a lot. So that's the prop that I'm thinking. Do you like that prop at all? 36.5 yards rushing Jackson Dart?
I'll be honest, I haven't watched enough Jackson Dart games to make that assessment. I haven't watched it play by play, maybe following the scores. But it's something that I haven't paid attention to, and for that reason I wouldn't take the bet.
Okay. Well, that's a good reason. All right, we have maybe the game of the 1 o'clock hour, the Baltimore Ravens, the surging Baltimore Ravens, the AFC North's favorite. I haven't checked because of the Steelers winning on Sunday. That might have flipped it, but the Ravens are alive, right?
Yeah, they're going to win the division.
Yeah, they're
yeah.
You think so?
I don't know if you heard about the reports about Lamar. Apparently, went in their locker room, took off all the games, turned off all the TVs. They're
ping pong tables are gone. Yeah,
ping pong tables are gone. This team is ready to win,
Okay, let me
and
just
with
double check
Lamar,
that futures here. Divisions. Let's
yeah,
go.
sure,
Futures
yeah.
FanDuel. Brought to you by
I would
FanDuel.
love to know, but I'm gonna assume they're
Yeah.
a favorite, but the Steelers got to be there too, right?
Yeah, the odds did change, but the Ravens are still minus 140. And I think having those two games still ahead for the Ravens and Steelers is why,
Ooh,
who do you put in that
wow.
favor? I got to think Ravens, right?
Well, you know what? You know what I'll say is the Steelers to me are just one of those teams when they're at home. I don't blame any team for losing. If you're taking on the Steelers in Pittsburgh, you know this team is probably the favorite at home to me.
Right,
So obviously in my head it'd be 1-1, but in my head it's also more likely the Ravens take two opposed to the other way around. But
right.
yeah,
Okay, so the Baltimore Ravens, 4.5 point favorites heading into Minnesota. And this is where the NFL makes zero sense. Why Minnesota would be on the road with a returning JJ McCarthy, beating the Detroit Lions, and not just sneaking one out. They were in control the majority of that football game. And anytime the Lions got close, they separated themselves. I don't know how that happened. How did the Lions drop it against the Vikings? But the Vikings now at home are 4.5 point dogs to the Ravens with an over under of 48.5 to win up a point. It was originally at 47.5. What are your thoughts on this one?
uh, so, I don't. Sorry,
Four
can
and a
you
half
repeat the
point
total?
favorites for the Ravens.
Yeah,
48.5 is the
yeah.
over under.
48.5 is the over under. I think this game's the under, but I also it's hard placing a bet where you're taking the team that's the favorite, or, but you're also choosing the under. But that's the way I'm going for this game. I think the Ravens are just gonna bulldoze through the rest of their games here. I just feel like oh no, Lamar Jackson is that kind of difference maker that can just take over the league.
So you're
I wouldn't
taking
even be
Ravens.
surprised. I'm 100% taking the Ravens.
Okay, over under. What do you think? Points in this game? No points.
No, I think it's a low scoring game, but I
Okay.
still I still think that the Ravens cover the spread though.
All right, I'm thinking Minnesota covers the spread. Ravens win. This will be a little tighter, one possession football game. That's my thought with that Minnesota D. And
Hmm.
this game is going to go over 48 and a
Yeah.
half. This is called the overrated experience
I
because we like overs, Austin. We don't like
see. I
unders.
think I just think that it's going to be. I think the Ravens are going to control the game. I think they're going to be able to run on the Vikings. I think Derrick Henry and Lamar. I don't see Minnesota stopping them, but I see uh, the Ravens slowing the clock.
So they're going to grind it out, in your opinion.
I think they're going to grind it out, but they're going to win by a touchdown.
So Derrick Henry gets 100 touches and the clock keeps running.
Give him, give him at least give him 100 yards for this one.
Okay. All right. We're going to move on to the game of the day. I know you're looking forward to this one. That is the Cleveland Browns heading into New York to take on the Jets. How excited are you for this matchup? The Jets?
It's yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, tell me the
It's
excitement. Tell
it's
me how you
actually
love it.
funny. I haven't placed a lot of bets, but I actually did place a bet. I feel like the Browns are going to take down the Jets on this game. The Jets just I don't know. The Jets just sold house, but I don't really know why they didn't get rid of Brees Hall. They could have got something for him for sure. But other than that, it's like I don't. I think the Jets are going to lay down here. I know the spread is close.
Yeah, so the spread is right now, Cleveland is actually a 2.5 point favorite on the road in
Hmm.
New York, and the over-under is a low 37.5. Not much movement here on the line or the over-under. Shockingly, no, not
Hmm.
really, because nobody's looking at us. I can't envision heading to Caesars in Vegas and this game being up on the big TV at all. You know what I mean? Just
Hmm.
terrible. But that being said, I'm going to take the Jets in this one.
Hmm.
I think that you have two bad football teams, one playing at home. I got to believe that now that there is no pressure on Justin Fields, look, what I've seen
True.
from Justin Fields is that he's a disaster as far as a franchise quarterback. You're not going to take him as a franchise quarterback, but he's going to do just enough or an amount of games where you think, oh shit, is he? He was terrible on the first half of the season. Man, he's really stepped
Yeah.
up and he's got talent.
Mhm.
He's always got that potential talent, and it's going to be a decision for the Jets. That's fool's gold. He's not your guy, but he
Mhm.
will shine here. I think the Jets win this game, so I like them as a dog at home. Would I be really watching or loading on this game? Absolutely not. We got to make a pick. I'll take the Jets.
Yeah. I just think Myles Garrett gets them. The Browns are not a great team, but they have some bright spots, and I just think the defense can shut down Fields. But we'll go head to head on this one, and we'll see
Okay.
what happens.
Now, the Cleveland D is not as impactful on the road as they are at home. Just point that out. Over
point.
under 37 and a half. I'm going to say under.
Yeah, I got to say under too. Even though Jets just got a big downgrade on defense, I still think both teams struggled to score here.
Yeah, and let me throw it. I agree with you 100%. Why not move Breece Hall? Even if it is somebody giving you a late round pick, what value is there
Yeah.
having a Breece Hall in the situation the Jets are? They should have went scorched earth and got rid of
Yeah.
anybody who, you pick up, hey, you want this guy? Yeah, no problem. No problem.
Yeah, you're telling me you can't get even a third round pick for Breece Hall? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean,
Why wouldn't that be worth it? You're stacking up. They did well with the guys that they traded. Don't get me wrong. I just think Breece Hall was a clear trade candidate.
There's
Tell me
also,
Kansas City Chiefs going to use them?
right, like with Pacheco, is he 100%? Maybe not.
Mm-hmm.
But also, maybe Breece Hall is overvalued, and maybe teams don't see him as a impactful running back to give up any collateral, any draft, picks at all. So, they didn't do it, and we'll move on. So, and you say we're both on the under on that one. Now, another barn burner, the surprising Carolina Panthers host the New Orleans Saints, 5.5-point favorites. This Carolina team is in the mix. They're in the mix. They're hanging around. They walked in again. Let's go back to how the NFL makes no sense. How can the Packers run all over, destroy the Pittsburgh Steelers on the road, and then come in flat to take on the Carolina Panthers at home and lose in a low-scoring football? But we did talk about the Packers. Get your hopes up, but their offense is going to be explosive, and then, bam, they have a performance like that. I know Tucker Kraft is out for the year. I think that's a significant loss for them, and I don't think that's being fed around the NFL as he was a difference maker on that offense for the Green Bay Packers. That is a huge loss. In this game, let's focus on the Panthers. Can they cover the 5.5 points over the Saints, who are lost? They are done.
As lost as the Saints are, I feel like, I also feel like Carolina is this team that's going to disappoint you. And I just feel like this is one of those weird games where the Saints could actually beat the Panthers.
Not just cover,
it's just
but beat.
Yes, just like beat. I don't know if that's that hot of a take. We were joking that the Panthers right now have the same record as the Kansas City Chiefs, which is absolutely mind blowing. But I just think the Panthers are just gonna do some loser shit here and lose this game. I'm not even lying.
Yeah,
I think that's what's gonna happen.
I was joking there, but I guess your take is what we just talked about: the Panthers going into Green Bay, knocking off the Packers. We talked about the Vikings, which made no sense at all. These two games, no sense at all. So it could happen here. It could happen here, and it would just be such a deflating situation for the Panthers if you go on a run like you're going on, and you're beating the Cowboys at home, you're taking out the Packers on the road, and then suddenly you fall flat on a New Orleans Saints team that unloaded at the deadline and get ready to get talent. Yeah, it could happen. I'll still stick with the Panthers, but respect your pick on the Saints. So I assume you'll take the plus 5.5 for the Saints. What about the over-unders? 38.5. It dropped down from 39.5. So the money's coming to the under. What do you think? I think it's going to be a higher scoring game.
Yeah, I think it's easily over 40. Under 38.5. That seems low.
Yeah,
that seems very low. That's one I may target this week.
I like those because I would also tease it, getting the 6 points to bring it to 32.5. I think there'll be some points here. Anyway, let's not talk too much about that game. It's not worth our time. Interesting matchup. The Buffalo Bills going in the direction of being a Super Bowl contender after a big win against the Kansas City Chiefs, but still behind the New England Patriots, by the way. They are not the leaders in the AFC East. And then you got the Miami Dolphins that are going in the wrong direction for sure. They looked absolutely horrible against the Ravens at home after coming off a big victory the week before against Atlanta. This Miami team fired their general manager, Greer. McDaniels looks like to be the next guy to go. They are 9.5-point dogs to the Buffalo Bills, and this game has a high 49.5 over-under. What are your thoughts on this?
I would say 9.5 seems like right where it should be. You know, the Bills should win by 10. You know what I mean? The Miami Dolphins are just a complete mess.
Yeah, they are, but
They have some bright spots.
for some reason, I feel like this is Miami's Super Bowl, right? This is their game. I don't like the Bills and the Heat in Miami. I feel that we don't get the best of the Buffalo Bills when they go down to Miami. James Cook is banged up. He's going to play, but he's on the injury report. So how healthy is he? I'm going to take a chance that Cook is healthy enough and his yards rushing 85.5 is low based on this injury, but I think he comes through and covers that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think the Dolphins cover just because of the heat in Miami. And this game, yeah, I'm going to say, I said under, but the Dolphins cover, game goes under, Cook over 85.5 despite being limpy. What are your thoughts on this one?
You know, I agree with you in the sense of, you know, Miami has that big home field advantage, and they still got superstars. You know, they got Devon A-Chain, they got Waddle. So I won't be surprised if they keep it within a touchdown. You don't think that Miami will actually win though? You just think they'll keep it close, right?
I think they'll keep it close. I think would I be shocked if the Dolphins knocked off the Bills? It's happened before. It's happened before in the heat of Miami, right? So
Miami always wins these games. Like they always win those weird games, even against the Patriots. You know, somehow they'd always find a way to win, right?
Yeah.
But like I said, I'd set it at 10 personally. I think it's a 50-50 if how that spread goes. So it's probably one I'd stay away from. But
can't stay away from it.
I like your thoughts.
So you liked Miami?
I'll go. I'll ride with you. Plus 9.5 Miami. Let's go.
Over under 49.5.
Under.
Under. So we're both on the under. Okay. And Josh Allen minus 140 is a heavy favorite right now to win NFL MVP. Does that make sense to you?
We're
not
maybe.
Sponsored by FanDuel, but minus 140 and Drake May and Patrick Mahomes. Drake May's number 2 at plus 400.
I think there's no real like absolute standout right now. So I guess you make Josh Allen leader. I don't know.
Interesting, but it's not. Yeah, it's not. It doesn't feel that somebody's running away with it.
Like it was Baker for a while, and I guess I just haven't been fully into it.
I think Baker might be a value play here, and I think having a week off, people have forgotten about Baker Mayfield. Why not Baker? Right?
Yeah. Also, I mean, is Lamar anywhere on that list? Like, if he goes absolutely nuclear down the stretch here, I don't know if that's possible with the time he's missed. But I mean, if he carries them, loses one more game along the way, which is very possible for like a team like the Ravens, is Lamar a guy to look at? I'm not sure.
That's an interesting storyline, isn't it, though? If they come back and win the division and you look at where they fell off and, when he was out and he comes back and they win the division, why wouldn't we put him in contention, right?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't he be a guy to think of?
In my mind, there's no like standout. There's no guy to me that I've seen go out there each week and just completely dominate. It seems like every year you got one of these guys, but this year it just doesn't seem like he's there.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Now we have I think a rather interesting matchup here, and that is the New England Patriots head down to Tampa Bay to take on your boy, who you threw under the bus earlier, Baker Mayfield, and the New England Patriots lead the AFC East. The Buccaneers are 2.5-point favorites. I just can't remember if this is a 1 o'clock game or if this is a 4 o'clock game. Let's see here. This is a 1 o'clock game. Man, I would have loved if they put this in the 4 o'clock hour. That's where I think this game should be. But we're going to get this at 1 o'clock. Tasty matchup here. Again, Tampa Bay, 2.5-point favorites. This over-under is 48.5. What do you think?
Can you tell me what team I'm going with this week?
Well, I mean, you threw Baker under the bus. So, I don't know if you go Tampa.
Well, okay. First of all, I just, in my head, I remembered, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Mike Evans is healthy now.
You
I
think
think
so?
he's healthy. Yeah, I don't
No,
know
he's
if you want
gone.
to Google that for me. If they're really I just think the Bucks are the real deal. I think the Patriots are could also be the real deal, but they're that team, they're the new kid on the block, and I feel like they got to get knocked down. And I think the Buccaneers are going to be the ones that do this to them.
Right. So Mike Evans is not back. Uh,
He's not back. All right,
no.
my bad. My bad. I'm still rolling with Baker here.
Man, look what the hell
Yeah.
ChatGPT are you using to get your latest information there. Okay. So you're rolling with Baker. You like them to cover the 2.5. Remember, the Patriots also will be missing Keyshawn Booty. What a name, huh?
hmm
Receiver. And Ramondre Stevenson is out. He was out last week.
That's pretty
He's out.
big.
So they're going a little shorthanded. So this will be able to enhance Drake May's MVP status if he can come through with a big game here down in Tampa and
Mhm.
put up some yards. But he's got to face Baker. I do think Tampa will cover. I think 2.5 points is disrespect to the Buccaneers. I think that's
Really?
absolute disrespect that because the flavor of the week or the flavor of the month is Drake May and the New England Patriots.
hmm
I think that this should have been a 3.5, 4 point spread. I think this is
Yes.
where you unload on the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
And I just think it's disrespect and a slap, not just a slap, but a backhand and a forehand and a backhand again to Baker Mayfield.
I don't really have an NFL team, but the Buccaneers may be my favorite team at times. I don't know. I feel like they're just, on this podcast we've talked about them probably more than any other team, and it seems like over the years they just always overperform from their expectations. I'm not saying those expectations are ever high, but they're never even, maybe this year they were, but in the last 3 years they weren't even the favorite to win the division, and they've dominated. They've really dominated that division.
And you got Tampa
And
Bay Buccaneer curtains behind you.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. The only, yeah, I agree. I'm
So,
saying too much about the Bucks here.
okay, so we're going to say those are the Bucking curtains, okay? The Bucking
Oh
curtains.
God. All right, sounds good.
Okay, so now I'm assuming you're riding the Buccaneers in this. I think you said it earlier, but I
Yeah,
didn't pick up.
it's weird. I don't necessarily know if they're getting disrespected just because in my head it's like I would assume I'm talking out of my ass here. I would assume all the public money's on the Patriots right now with all that hype, and that maybe could move the line a point or two. I'm not sure, but Bucks 2.5. I'm gonna make that bet, and it's gonna be a fun one. That's
I
probably
think
the
that,
game of the week as of now to watch for
yeah,
me.
to me, yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
uh, what about the over under 48.5? I think it's going over. I think this is going to be a back and forth, high scoring game. What do you think?
yeah. Well, because I'm forced to choose, I'll do the over, but I feel like 48.5 is like right there where I would set it, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
And then just a note, a prop here, which I love, is plus even money is both Drake May and uh, Baker Mayfield to combine for 500 plus passing yards. I
I
think we're
like
going to
that.
get some yards here.
Yeah, I think so too. I like
All
that.
right. We move on. And then we move on to the Kyler Murray-less Arizona Cardinals. And Kyler Murray's been put on the IR, so he won't be around. Anyway, Jacoby Brissett would not have lost his starting position the way he's been playing and actually woken up a lot of the Arizona offense, namely Marvin Harrison Jr. has suddenly been a factor in showing why he was an early first round pick last year. They go into Seattle, who is also riding a high.
hmm
Seattle's a 6.5 point favorite. The over under shifted from 45.5 to 44.5, so it's come a little lower. Can the Cardinals keep the magic going and cover the spread in Seattle?
Sorry, what was that spread again?
The spread is 6.5 in favor of the Seahawks. Your boy, Sam Darnold. He's your other boy.
I think Seattle wins. I think Seattle could win by double digits here. I think they could
Ooh.
win by tens.
Whoa.
So I am a big Sam Darnold fan. I think he's legit. He's just efficient. He's not sexy, but he's efficient. And yeah, give me Seattle at -6.5.
Imagine,
Uh, you
imagine a
know,
wife described her husband in that way. He's not sexy, but he's efficient.
yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know how I feel about that if it was my wife.
Yeah. So we have an over under 44.5. What are your thoughts there? It again went down by a point, so the money's coming in on the points to come down. What do you think?
Give me the over, but I could see the Cardinals struggling to score. So, but the bet that I would be eyeing is alternate spread -9.5. for Seattle.
Really? You think they got,
Yeah,
so
just
you
because,
put
like I
this at
said,
10.
I think they win by double digits. So I would
Interesting.
do my alternate minus 9.5 because I think that's what's going to happen. So that's how I'd put my money.
Well, let's look at what would that pay out here? So if you got
Yeah, but that
Arizona, I'm going to look at alternate spread here. Keep on it. We're not sponsored by FanDuel. I'm using FanDuel. I have no association with FanDuel, but by all means, if FanDuel wants to associate with me, I'm down with it.
mm.
Alternate spread, alternate spread, alternate spread. Oh my God, there's so much to sift
I
through here.
yeah, I
What do you
gotta
got?
assume it's like money. No, I don't have it. I don't have it.
Oh,
If you want to search for it, I'm just guessing. I'm taking a
okay. So
guess.
you would take minus 9.5. It's plus 132. So a
Plus
dollar 32.
132.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad. I'll take that.
Okay, you'll take it. So you like them 9.5. You like the Seahawks. I like the Cardinals to cover. I'll take the Cardinals, but I do like your argument to why the Seattle Seahawks may just suffocate them, suffocate this Arizona offense, and Jacoby Brissett may look like the backup quarterback he has traditionally been in his career in the NFL.
Mm.
We move on. Maybe the game of the 4 o'clock hour. I got to believe it is. The LA Rams head into San Fran to take on the 49ers. This spread has jumped. So the Rams were 3.5 point favorites, now 4.5 point favorites. Money coming in the
Wow.
on the Rams here, and this over under dropped from 50.5 to 49.5. So this is a big matchup, man. Like
Hmm.
this is a big heavyweight matchup in this division, and this will go a long way to jockeying for playoff position. What are your thoughts on this one? Are you looking forward to this one?
I'm looking forward to this one. Yeah, Puka Nakua's healthy. I know he came out of last week's game. But I will admit, I think 4.5 is probably where this line should be.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I don't know if I have much notes on this one. Like I said, I think they're 4.5 points is exactly where I'd put it. It's very hard to make a decision here. I'd like to hear your thoughts first.
Well, the good thing about Puka, because I know you're high on him and you have him in fantasy, is that the report was if that game wasn't such a blowout last week, he was healthy enough to return. So that's a
Hmm.
good sign that
That is good.
he wasn't out severely, and he'll make his return this week, which is a huge factor to the Rams. I don't think there's a receiver like him in the NFL.
Hmm.
Uh, I don't know how long his career can go with the contact he takes and the
Hmm.
punishment on his body. So enjoy him while you can. There's no way a human being can play like Puka Nacua for the
Hmm.
next 5 years. But
He's an absolute dog.
he's a dog, but he's a human being. He's got bones and tissue like everybody else, and eventually it'll all catch up to him. But watch and be amazed while he can. So the 49ers, to me, 4.5. I'll take the 49ers at home. I do
Hmm.
believe Kyle Shanahan will have a game plan that will keep the 49ers in this ball game. And I can just picture whether the Rams win or not, this will be a one possession ball game. And one of these teams will be marching down the field to be in field goal position or have to score a touchdown to win the game from behind. That's how I see this playing out. So I'll take the 49ers plus 4.5. Give it to me. I like the over 49.5. I have no rationale why. I just want to see a high scoring game. This is
Yeah.
the square better in me right now. So that's my
Hmm.
take. What do you think?
You know what? I'm gonna go the complete opposite. I know it's kind of crazy, but I'm gonna take the under and the Rams
Under the
minus.
Rams. Wow.
Yeah, that I guess I hate doing that, and I know it's the second time I've done that today, but I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, and this is the kind of not for you, a lesson to you sports bettors out there, including myself, is that, we're sitting here on the Saturday before the game, and if you like the Rams, you were better off pulling the trigger, obviously, a few days earlier when it was sitting at
Hmm.
3.5. Now, if you and any other bettor went and decided, I want the Rams, then you're stuck with the 4.5, right? And that's the difference between a square bettor and a sharp bettor, and that's me too. And also potentially having one book versus multiple. So I don't know if you can. I haven't checked, but I don't know if you can find the Rams still at 3.5, maybe on DraftKings or another a book. But that's the importance of also having a few options for you to select from. So interesting, big game. I am also going out on a limb here to say Christian McCaffrey, who's been absolutely a monster, maybe a
Hmm.
guy that should be put into MVP consideration. He has
Hmm.
absolutely carried this 49er team with all the injuries, and I like him I like him to have a game. I like him to have a game, 120 and a half over total yards. This guy's everywhere, right? And remember, we have thought, and you fantasy players out there, that he was hobbled, hurt, disappointing that, oh my God, he's going to be
Mhm.
coming into the season not 100%, and he's been lights out for such a long stretch here, really carrying along with
Mhm.
Mac Jones, his 49ers team, to contending for this division.
Yeah.
Interesting.
He's literally like the guy on the other side. He's the Puka Nakua of running backs. When he's healthy, no one debates that this guy's the best. It's just about him staying on the field and that's it.
Now, is it debatable that you would say Puka Nakua is the Christian McCaffrey of wide receivers? Like, who
Yeah.
gets more respect?
I mean, yeah, oh yeah, Christian McCaffrey gets more respect. So yeah, I guess Puka Nakua is the Christian McCaffrey.
All right, so we move on. Now we have the Detroit Lions, 8.5-point favorites heading into Washington, who will be without Jaden Daniels. Apparently, he's not going on IR, so no ligament
Mhm.
damage, even though his arm went the wrong way. I don't know if did you
Yeah.
see his injury?
Jane Daniels, yes, I
Yes,
did.
he
Yeah.
plants his
Oh,
hand,
yeah.
and then his elbow is going the wrong way, the
Oh, yeah,
wrong
I saw
way.
that. I saw
And
that.
again, here's the funny part, and we're talking because betting, right? I'm not.
Mhm.
I obviously want Jaden Daniels to be healthy, but I needed like 20 more passing yards or rushing yards from Jaden Daniels to cover my same game
Oh,
parlay, and that was.
yeah.
I think the situation was enough where they would have kept him in a little longer to get
Yeah.
that. But again, this is the second time with Jaden Daniels injuries have really screwed me over. So God damn it, Jaden Daniels, stay healthy.
That's the thing about overs and unders when it comes to football. Like guys are getting taken out of the game you're taking like a 10% chance this guy's just getting pulled from the game, basically.
But there's losers out there that fell into my scenario where that prop is lost because of an injury that would actually go out of their way to tweet a Jaden Daniels to just say something negative or bad or bad,
Yeah.
like really
It's like,
worse.
yeah,
That, I find that
that's crazy.
I could
That's
say it
just
here,
insane.
but I would never see
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels on the street and like, oh my
It'd
God,
be a
like blah
joke.
blah.
It'd be a joke. It'd be a joke. It's
Like
like, yeah,
it's pathetic. That's so
yeah.
pathetic, right? So anyway, this just for fun. So Lions 8.5-point favorites. No Jaden Daniels. You got
Mhm.
Marcus Mariota under helm. I do not. This game's 48.5, down from 49.5. Do the Commanders have any shot of covering here?
I don't think they have any shot of covering. I just learned in fantasy football, the Washington defense right now is the team you should be targeting. Like if you're picking up a guy off waivers and you're debating who should this guy be, you should, or sorry, you're debating, who you should pick up. If the other guy's going up against the Washington Commanders, you choose that guy. Yeah, apparently they're the worst defense right now with the injuries that they have. So I think that Detroit, especially after last week, comes out and makes a statement here.
So let me throw this at you. So one of my fantasy teams, I have Drake May and Jared Goff. Who would you
Hmm.
start
Goff.
because of this matchup against Washington?
Yeah, and because Goff is, Goff could be he could be a MVP candidate.
Yeah, I think the Lions needed to put their foot on the throat of like a Vikings team like last
Yeah,
week. So they got to go on a run for that to happen. I think he lost steam if that was ever going to be the case
yeah.
last week when they lost at home against the Vikings.
Hmm. But I
So
think
I
you got to
like
choose Goff. Am I mistaken? How many I think Goff threw how many touchdowns did he throw last week? Like four? Something like
against the
that.
Vikings.
No, wait, am I I think so. I don't know. I know he's been really
No,
good, if I'm not
no,
mistaken.
my God,
Or
they
sorry, am I?
lost.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. This is how you know I'm out of it. I'm thinking of a Matthew Stafford, aren't I?
Oh my God,
Oh
man.
my God, what am I doing?
I should edit you out of this podcast for sure.
Yeah. All
Anyway,
right. The AI can cut this out.
yeah, AI may be better suited to be up to date on the information.
Oh God.
Okay, so maybe I'll cut that out. Who knows? Now I'm assuming you're taking the Lions to cover
Yeah.
48.5. What do you like?
48 and a half. I don't know if Washington's going to score against the Lions. I guess I'll take the under.
I took the under as well. I took the Lions who are
Mhm.
on the same side. Now, Terry McLaurin, I have him on two fantasy teams. What a waste. We had a whole
Mhm.
situation where he was holding out for a contract. The Commanders gave in, and he has done nothing. And this is
Yeah.
maybe a lesson to be learned for NFL teams. When you have a star, not a superstar, a star veteran wide receiver, you can do without him. That's my opinion. And Terry McLaurin, The Commanders get all excited because, hey, I got Jaden Daniels, went to the NFC Championship. We need to kind of ride this hot streak, keep it going, keep his weapons. But this was a poor decision by them to hold on to him.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible.
I mean, I've always been a fan of him. I personally think it's just a classic case of, you're paying that older wide receiver. At some point, the wheels are going to fall off. But I feel like he's been a pretty consistent guy over the years. Hasn't always had the quarterback play. But this may be, this may have just been the year where the wheels fell off. I'm not sure.
Isn't that part of the skill set of an organization? They got to determine when those wheels will fall off and cut bait. Remember when Von Miller was moving around? Like now you forget about him because these guys have a short window of time, and you got to be able to have a strong organization to backfill, and move on and not get held cap hostage like some teams do, like this Terry McLaurin situation. Not good. Disastrous year for the Commanders. All right. Pittsburgh Chargers. This is the Sunday nighter. Decent matchup. Pittsburgh on the road at SoFi Stadium. The Chargers were 3-point favorites, now to 2.5. And what we'll see here, although the Chargers are playing at home, this will probably be a predominantly pro-Pittsburgh audience in SoFi Stadium. The over-under is 44.5, down from 45.5. The Chargers decimated by injuries, again, picking up offensive line help. The Pittsburgh Steelers coming off a great big win over the Colts, and their defense really lit them up. What do you see happening here? What's the story? Colt again? Chargers 2.5, down from 3-point favorites.
Yeah. Give me the Steelers and the over.
Yeah, I'm riding the Steelers as well. I think it's that time of year where they start eking out wins, and the difference here for the Steelers is that they have a guy like Aaron Rodgers, I think is a perfect fit for this group, where in years past they were just limping by in the quarterback position. So I'll take the Steelers as well. Okay. And the over-under 44.5, what do you think there?
I think that's an over. Easy over.
Yeah, easy over. Not much to say there, right?
Yeah, did you see what Ben Roethlisberger said about this Pittsburgh team?
Yeah, he said something. What he was comparing the what?
Yeah,
what did he say to help?
Yeah, he said because obviously, I mean, people think that it might be Rodgers last year. So he said, on my last year, they gave me a center that didn't even play center, and they gave Aaron Rodgers DK Metcalf. That is true too. You give Rodgers a weapon like that. Like this Steelers team, I think everyone wants to see them win.
Yeah, I agree.
I want to see the Steelers and the Ravens fighting down the stretch.
Yeah, and I think Roethlisberger's got a point. I remember that when he was ending off his career, and the Pittsburgh Steelers started off hot, and then it seemed like Ben Roethlisberger would take a half a step and get rid of the ball. I do believe that the Steelers didn't surround him with the talent that they felt confident to make a run. So he does make a point. He's had this podcast for a lengthy period of time. It's that one comment that people focus on, right? Yeah. I think he's been very complimentary of Aaron Rodgers. I know that wasn't a compliment against Aaron Rodgers. It was a point that he made, and it's probably factual. So that's we like the Steelers. We like the over. And then we have the Monday Nighter, which is a pretty juicy matchup. We got the Eagles on the road taking on the Packers. Packers came into this one 2.5-point favorites, now down to 1.5. The over-under is 44.5. That has not changed. We have Barkley should play. Saquon should be back. A.J. Brown should return. I mean, these are not locked in just yet. And we talked about earlier, Tucker Kraft out for the Packers. He's gone for the year. So what are your thoughts on this one? Pretty good matchup.
Sweet. You're telling me the Eagles are the underdog?
The Eagles are on the underdog, yep.
Oh, that's crazy. You got to smash that line.
Got to smash the line. So this, out of all the spreads, this is the one that stands out to you as the aligned spread.
I mean, I guess I haven't dove into the game enough, but it seems that way just like looking in. Like you're licking your chops looking at that.
Yeah, I think the same way too. So Eagles, to me, we'll both be on the Eagles there. Over under 44.5. I like the points. Again, overrated experience. What am I going to do? What do you think?
I agree with the over.
Okay. Any other thoughts on this game?
No thoughts. I hope Barkley's healthy.
Well, let's hope, because I have him on my 416 fantasy team, and he's just started to produce points. So let's hope he rides
wait,
points
you have him on your 416 team?
No,
right,
I'm even at the 416. Sorry.
No, I'm just
yeah. It's not nice. Anyway, Any other thoughts, fantasy, props, anything NFL related?
No, I mean, on this game, it is just crazy to me that, beginning of this podcast started early on of us talking about how the Eagles are potentially the best team in football, and for them to be an underdog in this situation against a team that potentially just lost one of their best players is a big surprise to me.
Yes.
And
So,
coming off a huge upset as well.
huge upset. But upset about it or not, this podcast is winding down, coming to an end. The Overrated Experience, it was a pleasure for you folks listening to the voices that you've just heard for an hour and 10 so odd minutes. The pleasure's all been yours. The Overrated Experience is over and out.
Awesome from Ajax, out.
All right. Goodbye, everybody. Good luck in your bets, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, Austin, it's over now.